Blue Nile South, the restaurant that specializes in seafood dishes. 25 Meeting House Lane, Peckham, SE15 2UN. Open Monday to Sunday, 10 a.m. till 11 p.m. for takeaway and delivery. And now available on Deliveroo, serving breakfast to start your day. Or choose from the daily menu, including yellowtail snapper, butterfish, parrotfish, boneless sea bass, salmon, and many other seafood delights, plus soups, side dishes, desserts, fresh punches, juices, and much more. Blue Nile South. Now available on Deliveroo. Or for takeaway, delivery, and table inquiries, call 0203 859 0346. That's 0203 859 0346. Blue Nile South, the specialist seafood restaurant delivering to your door. Find us on Instagram at Blue Nile South 25.
Yes. Welcome to Ropes Podcast, and today we'll be talking business with Miss Kaydian Parris, and I will be picking her brain to find out how Black people can be level up in this growing opportunity that's swirling around in the Black community. So we want to see how much we can level up with the big boys. Okay?
Yeah.
So, hi Kaydian, welcome to Ropes Podcast. And how are you doing today?
I'm okay. How are you?
Well, I'm doing fine, and I was like,
thank you for having me, of course.
okay, nice. It's always nice to have a beautiful lady in the studio.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. And you've been doing some amazing stuff. So I'm feeling very honored to be here today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to pick your brain.
Yes. To be honest, it's more of an opportunity for me. So I would definitely say thank you for the stage. And in terms of the work you're kind of doing anyway, I think you're definitely setting the trend for us and the community, so I'm all about that.
That's good. I have to give praises to my director behind the scene, and he's doing a lot of researching and putting this wheel running and everything, so I have to big up Jay Will.
Yeah, welcome Jay, well done.
Yeah, so he's the man who's doing all the researching and
everything.
So
makes the dream work.
I just have to just hold the mic and ask a question.
Nervous, let's see how it goes.
So anyway, welcome again, and so tell us about your business.
My business. So well, really, I'll probably start off by telling you a bit more about me and what I'm about.
Yeah.
And I think that would make sense in terms of why I'm in the business that I'm in. So first of all, I would say I've always been one who loves my people, loves my community. And I think from a very early age, I always aspire to want to break that chain. And I think many of us have as well, but sometimes it takes who you know, not what you know, to kind of get there. So as time went on, I found myself in different areas in terms of business. Started originally with like social side of stuff because of my love of wanting to help people. So after a while of doing that, I kind of realized very, very quickly that what I kind of went in there for wasn't necessarily what I was seeing. And you're not really in control of the decisions that you're able to make. So you can want to help people all day long, but overall you still have that person on top of you. And I think that for me was a little bit frustrating. So anyway, time went on and I slowly kind of ventured into properties, as I always had a love for properties. But it never really left me. It never ever left me in terms of my help and my love for people. So I was like, okay, cool. So how am I going to be able to kind of adapt and apply and put everything together so that I'm still able to connect with what really resonates with my heart, but at the same time, I want to level up. So I then decided that I'm going to start something called VGG. VGG is just basically virtuous goal getters. And all it is just about community. It's a family of us that's come together. And the aim is to try and see how we are able to constantly be hitting our goals. That's everything from buying properties to, running a business and understanding the dynamics behind that business as well, in terms of extra money and things that we can apply for, that we can get help that is out there to us, but a lot of our own Black community, should I say, doesn't really know. And for those who know, they're either too scared or for whatever reason, I don't know, why they just don't put themselves forward. So that's basically the remit of, me wanting to do what I needed to do, really, for my people, was how can I open up their knowledge to let them know.
Okay, well done. As I'm saying to you, there's a lot of people black people who study business and doing business, but you don't see them. They never come back to share their knowledge.
That is a very good
And it's a privilege to have you here sharing the knowledge to the black community to show them that we can level up. And as the program go on, so you're a consultant.
Yes, I am an actual business consultant by title. Yeah.
And what's the name of your company?
So my company is called, I've actually got more than one company, but this in particular that I'm more passionate about is called VGG, which is Virtuous Goal Getters. But I also have a property company. I also have a construction team. I have people who support others in terms of those who want to set up their own property services. So that's not necessarily owning the properties, but still being able to generate an income, whether it's through rental or rent to rent, Airbnb. Maybe they have properties in Jamaica, but they always wanted to set up, an Airbnb or a booking.com, whatever it is, that service there, but just don't have the money to buy it. So for me, it's all about, okay, whether you have the money or not, what can we do to help you?
Okay. So you don't have to have money to call you.
No, you don't. You don't need to have the money to cook. You just need to have that ambition. You just need to have that mindset. Are you willing to level up? Are you tired of being tired? If you're tired of being tired, then even if it's not me, because I think it's more about just how can we on a whole support each other. So it may not be my team, it may not be my company or my organization, but if you've got a brother or sister or auntie or uncle who's saying to you, listen, come let me help you. I've got some money, let me invest with you. Take the opportunity. Many of us, pride, I think, is a big thing that holds us back.
Okay, so what motivates you to do what you do?
What motivates me? So many things motivate me. Wow, where do I start? So, first of all, what should I say? God definitely motivates me because I feel that I have a purpose. And the older I get, the more I realize that work doesn't feel like work when you're helping others. So that part of me has never really changed. And I think one of my whys is that I would love to be able to see generational wealth. That's my main target. How can I be a part of that process? And I think if 10 of us out of 100 had that mindset, you can imagine at least 50%, or at least 50 out of the 100 would be much better off. So my son motivates me. As I said, God motivates me. Just wanting to see my people win motivates me. Just seeing a random, no disrespect, sister driving past in her Chris car, or seeing her talk about, how she's been able to help her family or whatever. For me, that's inspiring.
That's good. Kaydian, what makes you and your brand so unique?
I think what's unique about us, if not anything else, I know there's loads of different organisations out there that charges money for loads of different stuff, and really you don't really get a service in such. I mean, you're paying the money, but you can imagine if you're busy, if you're working, if you've got, kids is giving you a problem, people are dying left, right and centre, whatever it may be, in terms of how our family works, because I more see it as a family rather than a business, is that whether you are in a good position or not, you still have a team there that is working towards your greatest interest. So currently, for example, we have something called a family pot. And a family pot is where there's many of my own kind, I'm Jamaican by birth, and there's many of my own kind that hears the words Bitcoin, crypto. They don't really know what Bitcoin or crypto is. I mean, I had an auntie on the phone the other day and she said, Bitcoin, what do you mean by Bitcoin? I mean, like one kind? And I'm like, no, auntie, it's a digital currency. And that's one of the services that we provide as well in terms of, people who need support in terms of digital assets. The world is going to change. What we know of London, the UK, the world now isn't going to be the world in a few years' time. And I think the more of us that can click on now and jump on board and kind of know that one hand can't clap, the quicker we're all going to be able to be in a better position.
Black people, we really suffer from generation wealth because of slavery. It's not like we're talking like we're carrying a chip on our shoulder all the time, but it's a known fact that we struggle from generation wealth. We didn't get the opportunity to start business. Even when our people come here in the 40s and the 60s, they didn't get the opportunity. The bank would not lend them money. Nothing was happening for them. Most people, like they choke partner and they buy their house and they raise their family, and people see them and think that they're selfish. But studies show you that they were up against it. So
100%.
they didn't get the opportunity to create generational wealth in England.
That's
And
right.
in America, it's much different in America because slavery was abolished. I think like in America before
Back then,
England and
yeah.
back then. So they get a jump start to create generation wealth. So
Yeah.
how wealthy are you right now?
Ooh. Ooh. Robot. Jesus. Listen, he's all got me making me change the accent. Oh, wealthy, you know. That's it. He's making me get hot. Jay, this is where you kind of do the cut. I would say, do you know what? I'm in a comfortable position, and I'm grateful to God for my comfortable position. The figures are good enough, and they could be greater. But then that all depends on a person's individual, what they perceive to be great or greater. Everyone's always going to have a different level of achievement. And I think for me, no matter how hard you work, you always want more. It's just natural. There's going to be a time when you bought your first car, and at that time, right there and then, that first car was the like no one can tell you about your first car. You mean, what do you mean? You work hard on buying my local work, so you're putting in the petrol, you're boasting. You understand?
Yeah.
But the reality is, as you kind of level up in life, eventually what you once was so eager for, you kind of want more. And I do think that when you have children as well, your mindset changes. Your mindset in terms of, I want my child to be able to have better than me. So going back to your subject about generational wealth, one of the biggest things that our community miss is life insurance. So when people say to me, boy, I'm not like, such your mama drop all the time, nothing now, go on out. For me, I'm like, it's sad, and I do feel that pain, don't get me wrong, but I think as someone who also provides insurance, and I'm a great advocate for black insurance, or I don't care if you're black, white, Chinese, whatever color personally, because I've got friends and family of all different races.
Yeah, but we are talking about the black community right
my
now.
specific, my heart kind of cries for my people. And that's because what they don't realize is insurance is the only thing that can literally start, just the first step to breaking our generational wealth. People's like, what do you mean? What do you mean it's the first? It is literally the first, because imagine you can take out an insurance policy that could potentially give you, I don't know, maybe say 250,000, you're probably paying about £40, £50 a month, word speaking, right? Now, that £40, £50 a month may be something that you don't really want to pay. But so many of us would pay for that wig. That wig could be 500 and something pounds, and feel no way, and it needs to be virgin.
And everyone goes, that's so big expensive.
And listen, if you want quality, listen.
So like that one you have on your head now, what's the price of that one?
About the same price. Yeah, not proud to say, but about the same price. But I'm smart, you see, because you see, if I buy my hair's gonna last me a good. In fact, I've got hairs that I've bought maybe 2-3 years ago. Okay. And people still see it and be like, okay, your hair looks really nice, babe. I bought that 2-3 years ago. It's all about not what you can get, but how can you maintain it. So by me making an expensive investment, and I would say it's an investment because how you present yourself is of course important as well to the outside world. However, that's not something I'm going to be doing every week, nor am I going to be doing it if I don't have my things together. I would rather to do without. So I think in terms of the whole life insurance thing, today, for example, I got a phone call today from someone, and it hurt my heart because a few months ago, back in I think about September, I took out an insurance policy for them and covered their kids, and I encouraged that person to speak to their mum about an insurance policy, and they really wanted their mum to take out that insurance policy. Anyway, for whatever reason, which we do, I think we're all humans, say, come on, I'm going to deal with it, or, whatever. Anyway, she said that she was going to check with the bank, and we all know that the bank doesn't always give the best rates anyway. But, sometimes the elders, you got to give them the respect and make them do what they need to do. Only to get a phone call today to find out that she passed.
Wow.
Now, you can imagine the stress when someone passes.
Let's cut for a second.
Hey guys, welcome back to Ropes' podcast. You're here with your girl, Kaydian Parris, also known as Virtuous Goal Getter. Stay true, stay locked, and remember, generational wealth. Mwah.
Welcome back. As we was talking insurance and business with Miss Parris. And Kaydian, One of the things what I'm passionate about insurance is like there's a lot of black men have kids all over the place.
Lord.
I know some people don't want to talk about it, but it's reality.
It is,
And
yeah, it's true.
they cannot maintain every one of their kids. So I think that taking out the insurance and leaving some money behind,
There's at least some gratitude.
so the kids can start business when you're gone, and so
100%.
it's still legacy.
100%. And that there is the key word. It's about legacy. And it's about saying, you know what? The reality is that all of us will try to be, to work hard. All of us will try to maybe have our own businesses, but not everybody's going to be able to do that. So I think, within our own black community, if we could just get to a place, a mindset where we're like, you know what? I don't think I'm ever going to be able to buy that house I always wanted to buy, so I'm able to hand it down to my kids. But worst case scenario, I'm paying my £40 or my £50 or my £5 a month to make sure there's at least something I can hand over so that my children don't have to struggle. Because for you to have to really think to yourself, Jesus, where am I going to get the money now? How I'm going to pay for the mortgage? Let's say, I don't know, auntie, uncle, whoever had left the property behind, you're now having to pay for that mortgage until you sort everything out. But the thing that hurt me the most, that I've witnessed some of my clients, friends, or whoever go through, is things like trust funds. It's not just about the life insurance. Life insurance is one step. That's just to make sure you have a legacy. That's just to make sure that your kids or whoever it is that you so wish to leave something to at least has a start in life, so that they don't have to suffer, so they don't have to face the disrespect, the insults. I'm not saying that it's going to change. We can't change our complexion. We can't change, what they see on the outside. But our mindset, if our mindset has changed, but knowledge is power. Everybody knows this already. So if you can get the knowledge enough to know that, I'm going to leave at least some kind of financial money there for my family, but I'm going to go one step ahead. I'm not only going to leave some money, I'm going to make sure that I put my trust fund in place, because I don't feel like I want to work 100,000 and give the government 40,000 out of that 100,000 that I had to work so hard for my kids. Why should I? So these are the things that we need to educate ourselves on, because I know there's many people right now that think whatever money you have in your account is your money. God forbid should something happen to you. But to those who has got whole heap of bills outstanding, or God forbid maybe that elder person went into a care home or whatever, and the bill wasn't paid before they passed, or whatever, all those money is going to be deducted out of what's left. So not only are you going to get the tax of the 40% inheritance tax. So let's say we got 100,000. You start with 100. They've now taken 40,000. You're left with 60. You've got a nursing bill that's for another 20. So now you're left with 40. You have another Sky bill that you did leave behind. You had some outstanding money for the loan at the bank. By the time your kids actually gets anything, there's nothing left. So for me, it's deeper than just, it doesn't matter. I'm tired of my own people kind of having that stigma of, why should I take insurance after I don't plan to die? And that's usually what they say.
Wow. Kaydian, you're still young, you're beautiful, you're intelligent, and I appreciate you coming on the podcast to talk about business, because there's, in our community, I've never seen no one do it. No one approach no one to do business. Do you think that black people are scared of doing business?
You know what? I feel like there's a yes and a no to that. I think, again, it's the fear of the lack of knowledge. And when you don't have that knowledge, it's just like when you're learning to drive the car for the first time. You can see everyone driving every day, and in your head you're thinking, one day I would love to be able to do that. But if only you had someone, your dad, your mom, your cousin, whoever, that could just slow those steps down for you, break those steps down one by one, it would make a big difference. So one, we have a situation where you have our people who has that fear, and they perhaps don't have positive energy around them, because sometimes if we're honest, we don't all come from the best upbringing. I came from Caribbean upbringing where pretty much your work, Friday coming also party time, everybody get dressed up and they're doing road. Sunday again, you know what time it is, Sunday did the rice and peas, whatever, and it's back to that routine again. So I don't think from the elders themselves kind of put enough in us as young people to have that confidence.
Okay, then I don't think they didn't know any better, because as I say, they're coming from, when they came to England, they struggled a lot. Yes. So they were struggling to buy a house, put a roof over their kids' head. They have kids that left back home, and then the rest, the second generation that came, there was nothing here for them more than just fall into line and just go to work, come back home, go party, come back home, eat
But
the
then,
rice and peas.
You know what? That's a very good point. But then I think arguably we could turn around and say, is it necessarily that it was because they didn't have the time, or is it because they didn't have the person or people around them to steer them in the right direction?
All right, you have to remember, racism play a big part
100%.
into that, because when they go to the bank, just like when they come here in the 40s and the 50s and they tell them that when they want to rent a house and they tell them say no blacks,
100%,
no Irish and no dogs, right? So it just didn't change overnight.
Yeah, and I agree with
You understand?
that.
So right now, your generation is changing things, and I'm so proud to see that you're stepping up. You're setting up a company, and you preaching to people to say, "John, come and work with you," or
even if they
your
don't
own
work
company.
with me, I just want to see them do good. I just want to see our people win. There's so much opportunities out there, and as you said, back then it was so much harder for our elders. So I feel like if we have the opportunity now, why are we not grabbing it? And I think, as you said, your question was, what do you think the fare is? And I do think a lot of the time it's your network is your net worth. And if you're not around the right network, it's just like if you have a child and there's that bad influence around them, there's two things that can happen. It's either that child is going to remember everything that my mom and my dad uttered to me, and that's going to stick with them, or the peer pressure from their surrounding is going to play a bigger part. They still have to make a decision at the end of the day, but I do feel that with the right love, the right support, the right team, the right network, the right education, we can all get there.
I believe in you, and I believe that you're gonna go on to do well in your company. What are some of your accomplishments?
You know what? That's such a good question, because I think the more you kind of achieve stuff, it kind of goes over your head. So you're just always on to the next. But I would say my greatest achievement was, oh God. So I'm glad that I was able to graduate from university, and I think for me, because there's not, as you said back then, that was almost an advantage. So being able to do that maybe for my parents and also for my son, so that he could see that, yes, you know what, maybe one day I can do that too, great. But I would probably have to say the fact that my mindset, and I think most people probably wouldn't say that, but I think my greatest achievement is my mindset. I think your strongest tool is your brain, and the power of your brain and the impact that you can make. And I think without the brain or the mindset that I have, nothing that I have would even matter. And I wouldn't be able to achieve nothing. So as much as I'm glad for all the other stuff, with the properties or whatever I've done, I think really and truly every day I thank God. I say, God, thank you so much for my mind. Thank you so much for the people you send my way. Thank you so much for exercising my brain.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you being princess sitting in front of me right now.
Thank you.
Describe yourself in 3 words.
Oh, jeez. Why ropes are going to prepare me? All right, 3 words. I would say I'm unique. I would say I'm virtuous, hence the name of my business. And I would definitely say I am it's a hard one. Got so many. I'm like, which one is the best one? I would say I'm caring.
That's good. As you talk about caring, you have a charity in the middle of the pandemic. You were giving away loads of stuff and money and to people who didn't have nothing to eat. You're a very caring person. Is it your bona fide charity, or just you doing it through your company or your personal?
Do you know what, Rex? I'll be honest with you. I kind of just woke up one day and just thought to myself, I just wanted to, and I'm quite spontaneous like that as well. So I just thought to myself, you know what? There's so many people that are suffering out there right now, and it kind of brought me back to my own people, my own Caribbean people, because of the whole, the status thing. A lot of them haven't really sorted out their immigration status. And I was saying to myself, well, if everyone is struggling and they can get local benefit, or they can get furlough, or they have a business so they can get the bounce back loan or whatever, what about those who don't have any of that? who don't have no ID, don't have no, you know, status. So that was kind of the motivation for me behind that. So yeah, every Sunday I basically would do a giveaway. I would try and see if I could feed 4 families. And yeah, I think that's when I called you and I was like, do you know any families that are, you know, really in need kind of thing? And yeah, I think you helped as well. Thank you, Ropa. I think I had a few people come from your team who was introduced by you, who said they were struggling, and up until now I don't really remember their names or whoever you are, I hope it blessed you very well.
You know, I don't even remember them myself because I do so much charity work myself. Like,
Yes.
I don't even, because I never really do a charity work and put it on the internet and said, yes,
Yeah, and
I
I was
did
like,
this.
it was just literally WhatsApp, and then I was just like, guys, you know anyone, just, you know, let me know, and then I'll give it out. But I think what was beautiful for me, I recently came back from Ghana, where myself and my sister and her mum, Julie Stone, who basically organised for us to be able to provide to an orphanage of 47 children. So, you know, we bought loads of stuff, you know, not just old stuff, because I think they're so used to getting just secondhand stuff. So, you know, we kind of said that we're going to make it a venture and just do as much as we can, went over there, and it was really touching. And I think sometimes when you're doing those stuff, in your head you kind of want to see them smile, but when you really show up, it kind of makes you want to cry, because you really realize how privileged, how blessed you are.
That's
you know?
true.
So yeah, we've got another shipment going off, but this time Jamaica, so that one's next week. So yeah, we've got about 10 barrels, so fingers crossed.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
You're doing well.
Trying.
So, how do you find time for yourself? What do you do for fun? Apart from just working.
Do you know what?
working.
3-4 people asked me this week, and I was like, what do I do for fun? Do you know, I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm quite, I have a youthful side when I'm ready. You can probably tell when I do all of this stuff. But I have a youthful side when I'm ready. So I love things like jet skiing, I love zip lining, I love
So, how do you get time to do
holidays.
those things?
Why, Rose? I'm telling you. You know what? But for me, my holidays is my time. So I make it a point of duty to make sure I travel at least 3 or 4 times a year. And I guess that's the only time I really get to chill. But you know, my family is quite lively, very lively. So they always have some event going on somewhere. So yeah.
Okay, I see you in your working environment, and how do you describe your leadership style?
You know what? My leadership is very much about empowerment. So, including those who has perhaps worked for me before, even if they started off working for me, my end goal is to get them to be a boss. So by the time you're leaving me, you should be a boss. And so I have a very caring nature, but at the same time, I try to avoid them making some of the mistakes that I made along the way. And so at the moment I've got an amazing young lady called Tamara, who is a big part of my team. And you know, initially it started off the same way. Now she's a boss, and she pretty much helps and runs the whole virtuous go-getter side, and I pretty much run more of the construction business and the property side of stuff.
Okay, so what is your business mission?
My business mission at the minute is really to be able to help my Black people. And by doing so, I have been able to partner with other leading companies who is willing and has got a pot of money that is there specifically for the ethnic minority, and especially of those who perhaps has been, you know, in connection with the Windrush, who either has a construction skill or a building skill of some sort, whether you're a painter, a decorator, or a carpenter, what do they call that, chippy?
So people pay attention to this podcast.
Bricklayer, no, trust me, you guys need to make sure you are watching Ropes' podcast, because every so often I'm going to drop some gems and give it to him. If I have some opportunities, he'll definitely be one of the first to know. So at the moment, what we're looking for is you know, we're looking for electricians, we're looking for gas workers, we're looking for plumbers, we're looking for brickers especially, we're looking for carpenters especially, and that's where it kind of starts. That's in terms of work. But then let's say it's someone who perhaps has a project or had a project And unfortunately, due to Corona, it kind of, mashed the business up or whatever. We've also got another funding pot where you're able to get somewhat a loan. So it's not necessarily a loan. I think it's one of the most amazing thing out there right now, where if you have a house, for example, Rose, and you decide that maybe the house needs a bit of work on it, but you really genuinely can't afford to do the work on the house, my team would probably come in, and the company would probably come in and say, okay, how much is the work going to cost? You would probably say, it's going to cost, I don't know, 40 grand. We'd probably be willing to give you 20,000 or 30,000 off that 40. But in order for you to pay us back, rather than you physically taking money out of your pocket, or having to go to the bank for a loan, or us putting some kind of charge on your house or on your name, all you would have to do is rent us a section in that home.
Okay, so it's just as easy as that?
Well, as long as it meets the specs and we feel that it's going to be a good return on investment, because of course no one's just going to give away money for free. But if you think about it, for those who knows about property will already...
So wait, so the ROI, or
yes.
How much percent do they have to pay?
So it's not necessarily what they have to pay. This is the beauty of my company, because I would be negotiating with the company who is letting the money, should I say, or giving the money. And therefore, let's say I felt for whatever reason that they were charging too much, or they were going to take way too much off of my client, I would be negotiating to say, actually, I don't think it's necessary. But it's usually around the 20% marker.
Okay, so are you doing this to make money out of your people, or are you doing this to help your people?
110% to help my people. So let's think about it. There's a pot of money there, right? I don't necessarily need to do it with my people, because we have the Polish, we have the Albanians, or whatever they call it. What they called? Albanians, that's it, who do the work a lot cheaper. But really and truly, that's what has been happening over the years.
But the black builders are much better.
Do you understand? But they don't get recognised. They don't get that true rewards that they're supposed to get. And so I feel it is my duty, if I can help, as long as they're willing. If you're willing to work, then I'm the lady for you. If you're not willing to work, then I can't help you. If you're willing to build, or you want to build your own property business, or your own construction business, or whatever have you, there's work there. I mean, one of the projects we've got at the minute is 147 units. We can't do all of that by ourselves.
Okay, I see where you do mortgage as well, and
yes.
and if someone have their council home, what's the process of buying your council home?
I'm really glad you actually brought that up, because it is a topic I'm very passionate about. Those who know me, important. Earlier on you said, going back to your question, but earlier on you said, back then they didn't really have the opportunities because they were facing XYZ, racism, no Irish, no dogs, no whatever. In this current time, if you have a council property, you are sitting on gold. And many people don't realize that you are able to get 112,300, I believe it is now, discount on your council property. And these are things that I basically, or my team helps other people who are trying to buy the property and perhaps don't know how to, don't know how much discount they're entitled to, don't know where to start, because they're probably thinking, but I don't have no deposit money. I'm like, babe, you don't need a deposit money. Your discount is your deposit money, and that's what most people don't realize. So for example, if we had a house that was 300,000, and I then did your paperwork straight, the likelihood is that they're going to say you live in London, and so your discount is 112,000. You're going to minus that 112,000 from the 300,000, and then basically whatever is left over, that's what you need a mortgage for, not for the total amount. Okay,
but you will charge a fee though?
Yeah, of course, we do charge a fee.
Is your fee high or is low?
No, I think my fee is extremely good. And to be honest with you, once you're in the VGG team, you don't have to pay that fee. So.
Okay. How can you claim back company tax? Or do you have to have a specific company to claim a company tax?
So amazing. So one of the sectors of our team is that we focus specifically on R&D, and I believe that's what you're talking about in terms of claiming back taxes. And so R&D is basically research and development, and that is a tax credit which is available to most companies, but many people don't have one clue. In fact, about 92 to 94% of companies don't actually apply for R&D. And what it is if you have a company that is innovative in any way, so let's say maybe you do food and you focus specifically on vegetarian food, or maybe you've recently decided to launch a skincare product. I don't know, shea butter, that seems to be quite a popular one. The fact that you are going out of your way to put together something for a specific cause. So it's when they say innovative, which they use quite vaguely to confuse people, but all it means is, what's your why? So if you had a clothes brand, for example, looking very nice today, Roper, by the way.
Okay. You know, we're talking business, so the jacket come out, you know?
Everything, all the way. You know, I like a guy that dress up for me, you know. Thank you, I do like. But yeah, you know, if you had a clothes brand like you are dressed now, and you said, you know what, the reason why I designed this jacket is because it keeps men cooler. The material that I've used, I've specifically chosen it so that it doesn't, you know, sometimes you get the sweat patch them or whatever. You know, you could decide that I want to specifically make my brand about that. And so that in itself would be innovative. At the time when you're putting together your brand, you're not thinking anything of it. You're just thinking, I just want to sell my clothes, make my profit, and hopefully this thing blows. But every year you could actually be getting money, especially if you're in the property business, food, beauty, you know, that type of stuff. Our last client last week, for those of you whoever watches this podcast and was on my call last week, knows that my client just got just over 200,000, 252,000 to be. He's in the construction sector. So hey guys, welcome back to Ropes' podcast. You're here with your girl, Kaydian Parris, also known as Virtuous Go-Getter. Stay true, stay locked, and remember, generational wealth. Mwah.
Okay, welcome back. Kaydian,
Hey.
as I said, there's a lot of black people don't realize that they need help until they start a business. They just say, we don't support each other. But there's other things going on out there and they never support it until they really want their help. So they're kind of selfish in a way. And they shouldn't be. You should have been see that, just like when you see that black butchers yesterday, you're willing to support them, because I shared a video.
Yeah, me too. What's great about it is that I think more of us is becoming more aware of this stuff, and I think it's taken a while. It's taken a long time. We've been under a lot of brainwash, a lot of,
it's too long. Black people must wake up.
Yes.
Wake up and start to support each other. Wake up and start to support each other. Just don't wait until you need help, you start to bawl for people.
But they do say that until you walk in another man's shoes before you really understand their pain. So at the same time, for some of them, maybe it took running their own business to really understand, wow, you know what, I see people running business, I think it's easy all the time because they're driving a nice car, or they're doing really well. But the reality is, running your own business is a lot of work. It's a lot of sacrifices. When another man's doing a 9 to 5 and they're coming home to chill, have a nice drink or whatever they do in their spare time, when you work for yourself, you do more work than anything else. When you're self-employed, you do a lot of work. And when you're running your own business, you're a lot of work until you have a system. It goes back down to that. Until you have not own the barber shop and be in there cutting hair as well, unless you choose to, but where you have 6 men working for you, and I don't know, someone else using another section where now, okay, they work for you, you have a system in place. If you want to stay at home all day and not work, you still make money. Until you have a system that whether you get up and go to work or not, it doesn't affect you financially. You don't have a system. And so the minute we can educate ourselves on that, then great. But I do give credit to those who are trying to slowly change.
Yeah, that's true. But Kaydian, we don't even have enough time to go through half the stuff you do and half the stuff. There's any other opportunity that you want to tell us about from black people?
Yes, definitely. There's so much. As I said, the greatest way is obviously to probably get in contact with me, or yourself, of course. But I would definitely say, as I've mentioned, I'm definitely looking for people within the construction, building sort of work field. We are definitely willing to help those who perhaps wanted to, do their own property, or maybe you want to do a rent-to-rent business, a buy, remortgage, whatever it's BRRR as we call it. maybe you bought the property, but you know what, you got stuck and you need some help, you really need some finances in regards to finishing that, maybe there's something we can negotiate. If you are someone who's interested in the whole Bitcoin and crypto kind of world, you know, we help with trading. If you need mentorship, we help with that. If you need insurance, if you want to build your legacy, if you want to make sure you have your business insurance. I think many of us have businesses with other people and we don't actually realize we can take out a business insurance, because if your business partner goes and takes out 20 grand on the business and you guys have a joint business together, God forbid in this COVID or anything else, they should die or pass or whatever, you're not responsible for that 20 grand. That's on your head. So there's just so much that it's so hard for me to say. But what I will say is I'm definitely about, you know, helping others. If you do know anyone and you can get in contact with Ropes who is really suffering, when I say suffering, don't really have any status or anything like that, and just need some help.
If you don't have a stay and you need help, come and see Kaydian.
Yeah, there's not too much I can do, but if it's even some money for, you know, your food shopping, that type of stuff, Ropes knows I always try to see if I can do a few families a week. And I've got loads of clothes and stuff and, you know, new shoes and that type of stuff, which my great friend Leon Ashman, big up yourself, has also helped with donating, that I'm able to give away as well. But yeah, so once you contact me, of course we can take it from there and we can talk about the rest.
Can you give out your contact details?
Yes, so I'm not the greatest at social media, but I'm working on it. You know, we all have our faults. That's mine. You didn't ask me what was my fault. But yeah, I'm on Kaydian Parris on Instagram, Virtuous Goal Getters on Instagram, and same on Facebook, Kaydian Parris. And my contact number and details. So number is 07366 407 980. That's a 07366 407 980. And yeah, you can message me there and I'll do the rest.
Miss Kaydian Parris. I would love to talk to you some more about see my director looking over here making eye contact. So he's like he's telling me that is the wrap. So you know, I don't want to stop me.
So much. Thank you, Rex, for having me. And I just want to say well done to you. I'm so proud of you. I've seen you from the very, very, very beginning. You know, back then when we secure your year and you're up my shoulder. But it's just amazing to see how much you've elevated. It's inspiring to see that you're trying to put a platform, because one of my things within the whole, you know, dancehall scene is that a lot of the things we push out is usually so negative. It's always about crime, or you know, you go to a party, you want to enjoy yourself, but you're scared because you're not sure how the night's going to end. So it's just so nice to see that you have a variety of, you know, different presence and energy on your podcast, trying to give the people knowledge and trying to level them up. So yeah. As
we always say, if you can change your people and change them for the better, it makes no sense. If you're going to contribute to your community, make it be something good.
100%. And guys, last but not least, at the moment I'm doing great referral rewards on anyone who you know. If they have a business, as long as it's registered, by the way, it needs to be registered, but if it isn't registered, don't let that stop you from contacting me, simply because, as I mentioned and Ropes asked earlier on, in terms of helping those who want to start now, if you've been holding on to a business, or maybe you've been doing it but you just never registered, think about the R&D side of stuff, guys. There's money out there that you don't have to pay, but you can actually claim for. And on top of it, which I didn't mention earlier on, you don't actually pay nothing up front. They only charge a fee. The company will only charge a fee if they have been successful in claiming something fee.
Mm-hmm. That sounds good. Anyway.
So thank you, guys. Keep locked to Ropes' podcast, and I look forward to being here one more time. Subscribe, share. Yeah, and like. Right? Alright, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Hey guys, welcome to Ropes' podcast, and you're here today with your girl, Kaydian Parris.
This podcast is brought to you by Video Rose Production Limited. Whether you got an event, a birthday, a wedding, a christening, even music video, we will capture it all for you. Don't waste time. Give Video Ropes a call.